On your marks.
.36 seconds. That number alone doesn't tell you much. But here's what's buried inside it. Dalia Kaddari ran that heat without once hitting her ceiling. She crossed the line in complete control, with reserves left untouched. That is far more alarming for her rivals than any personal best could be. By the end of this breakdown, you'll see exactly where she banked that energy, how the curve separated her from every other athlete in the heat, and why the split between her first and second 100 meters tells you everything about how she intends to win this competition. The event was the women's 200 meters, round 1, heat 2, at the FISU World University Games. Kaddari drew lane 3, not ideal, not terrible. Lane 3 gives you a moderate stagger advantage without the exaggerated curve angle of lane 1 or 2, but it also means you can't hide behind a wide stagger and pretend you're ahead. You have to run your own race and trust your mechanics. Her reaction time off the blocks registered at approximately 0.148 seconds. Sharp, not explosive. Kaddari has never been a pure out-of-block sprinter. Her start is built for control rather than immediate acceleration, and that pays off 40 meters in, not at 10. What's most surprising about this performance isn't the finishing time. It's the split structure underneath it. Kaddari covered the first 100 meters in roughly 11.9 seconds and the back straight in 11.4. Most sprinters bleed speed across the home straight. She accelerated through it. That shape, a negative split in a 200, requires exceptional curve mechanics to preserve enough energy for the second half to actually go faster. So here's the question the data raises. How does a runner without the fastest start still lead before the 100-meter mark? The answer is the curve, and specifically what happens between 40 and 90 meters. Kaddari entered the bend with a cadence of approximately 4.7 steps per second and a stride length of 2.3 meters. She didn't force the curve. Her torso stayed upright within 3 degrees of vertical. Her left arm swept inward to counterbalance the centrifugal load, and her foot strike remained beneath her center of mass rather than splaying outward. That last point is where most university-level 200-meter runners lose time. The curve pulls them wide, the foot strike drifts lateral, and ground contact time stretches from the ideal 0.095 to 0.11 seconds. Longer contact time means less elastic energy returned per stride. Kaddari's contact time through the apex of the curve held at an estimated 0.098 seconds. Efficient, controlled. And the stagger against the athletes in lanes 4 and 5 began closing from the 70-meter mark onward, which told anyone watching that she was the fastest runner in that heat, regardless of what the stagger made it look like at the gun. Behind her, South Africa's Annestaysha Luchandre George posted a strong opening phase. Her first 60 meters were aggressive, drive angle held low, shin angle at block exit closer to 42 degrees, generating strong horizontal force. George's acceleration phase was arguably more explosive than Kaddari's, and yet by the time both athletes hit the midpoint of the curve, the dynamic had already shifted. One detail that stuck with me when reviewing the mechanics: George's arm carry widened under load. As her lactate threshold pressed against her acceleration, her elbows flared outward past a 90-degree angle, which rotates the shoulders, which then disrupts hip alignment. That chain reaction costs roughly 2 to 3 centimeters of stride length per cycle. Across 20 strides on the back straight, that compounds into 30 to 60 centimeters of lost distance. At 200 meters speed, that's between 0.05 and 0.10 seconds, and George finished 0.58 seconds behind Kaddari. George ran 23.94, a solid qualifying time. But here's the layer that matters. Kaddari at 23.36 was running within herself. What does Kaddari look like when she isn't conserving? Her personal best is 22.53, set at the European Athletics Championships. That's a gap of 0.83 seconds between what she showed here and what she's physically capable of. In mechanical terms, at 22.53 pace, her average velocity runs close to 8.9 meters per second. At 23.36, she was averaging approximately 8.57 meters per second. She left real speed in reserve. Here's the take worth sitting with. At a university games, running a heat at 98% effort to make a statement is tactically wasteful. Kaddari didn't do that. She ran at roughly 92%, dominated visually, and communicated exactly what she intended to communicate without exposing her ceiling. That's not just physical ability. That's race intelligence operating at a level most athletes at this stage of a competition don't deploy until the final. What would you have done in her lane? Pressed early to build psychological dominance, or trusted the data and saved the legs? The comments are open. The home straight from the 100-meter mark confirmed everything the curve had already suggested. Kaddari's transition off the bend was a progressive gear shift rather than a reactive burst. Her stride length extended from 2.3 meters on the curve to a peak of 2.51 meters in the middle of the straight, while her cadence held stable at 4.6 steps per second. Frequency held, length grew. That combination is the signature of a runner whose speed reserve is structural, built into her training, rather than forced on the day. Her head position through the final 30 meters showed zero forward lean compensation. When runners tie up under fatigue, the head drops forward, the hips follow, and the stride shortens from the front. Kaddari's hip height remained constant. Her knee lift stayed above parallel, and her finish line lean was measured rather than desperate. The decisive factor in this heat was not reaction time, not top speed, and not raw fitness. It was Kaddari's curve mechanics preserving elastic energy that George's slightly less efficient arm and foot mechanics bled away. One runner arrived at the home straight with more to spend. The other had already drawn on reserves she needed for the final 80 meters. What this heat teaches you about any 200-meter race: watch the curve, not the gun. A fast start that costs you hip alignment and contact time efficiency will always be overtaken by a controlled curve that banks energy for the straight. The athlete who looks smooth at 90 meters is the one who will frighten you at 180. If Kaddari runs the final with the same mechanical precision and actually opens her throttle, the time on the board will look very different. The question isn't whether she advances, it's how much faster she actually is. If this kind of race mechanics breakdown is what you're here for, subscribe and hit the bell. Every analysis on this channel goes this deep. Drop a comment below. Which phase of the 200 meters do you think separates the gold medalist from the rest of the field?